Today I just wanted to speak about how to secure a property deal, especially in a hot market. So a lot of people, what they do is they find a property that they like, whether it's on market or off market, and then they start speaking to the agent, and then they start doing their due diligence, and they start checking it, and it can take 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days before they even sort of start thinking about signing a contract or putting an offer in. And by that time, typically the property is gone. Typically, that is very typical for a hot or competitive market, especially if you're coming up against people like myself. Yeah, it's not going to work. And I guess today I just wanted to tell you a little, not a dirty trick. Seems a bit dirty if you don't have the right intentions, but if you have the right intentions, it's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. So what we typically do is we will do a very surface level due diligence on a property at first, and we'll understand the urgency of the sale. So if we know that property is exclusive to us, we won't rush the due diligence. But if we know that it's shared to us, but by tomorrow it's going to go to market, or it's going to go to other investors or other buyers, then we will have to pull out this little trick. So what we'll do is we'll find a property, we'll do the very major due diligence, the quick due diligence that we can do to rule out anything that would be a red flag to the purchase, and then we will obviously value the property. We'll come up at an offer price. We'll put the offer in as soon as possible with conditions. Now this is the key thing. And the conditions can be subject to a building and pest inspection, subject to a finance clause, subject to a video walkthrough, satisfactory video walkthrough, subject to a due diligence period, a general due diligence period, which just allows us to cover and do due diligence on that property after we've gone under contract. And so that is the trick. The trick is you get into the deal, you get your foot into the door with some strong clauses that allow you to pull out if need be. But you don't want to do this if you're 90% sure, 95% sure that you're happy with the deal. That's when you'll do this. But don't do this when you barely looked at the property and you're like sort of not sure, because then you'll ruin your relationship with the real estate agent. You never want to do that. So once you're 80-90% sure that you're going to go through this deal, check with your conveyancer, check what sort of conditions you can put in there to sort of allow you to get in the door, but also step away from it once you've completed your full list of due diligence checkpoints. Now you have to have a good team around you. You have to have a conveyancer or solicitor that will work directly with you. A lot of the times this sort of process is done in commercial like that. A lot of the times that's how it's done. They'll do a base level due diligence, then they'll get their foot in the door and they'll put like a 21-day general due diligence clause to finish everything else. But in residential, it's not as common. But it is definitely still doable. So if you're struggling to get into a hot or competitive market, consider doing this. And again, have a good conveyancer or solicitor behind you, so you have that confidence and the reassurance that you're doing everything right. You don't want to be getting into a deal and then not being able to back out. Of course, you're always going to have standard clauses like building and pest and finance, but just see if you can get a few other special conditions in there that give you greater flexibility. I hope this sort of helps. I know it seems a bit scary. We do this day in and day out, but it really, really works. Magic in a very hot or competitive market.